A transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down.
Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then God so clothe the grass which is today in the field and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
According to the Holy Scriptures, Yahushai, the Son of the Most High, is set to bring immortality to the nation of Israel, the elect, via establishing the tabernacle of David, as we talk about the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He is coming to take down this current world ruled by Esau, Edom, and establish a righteous kingdom, which is synonymous with the throne of David. That's scriptural, which is a government that's going to run this world in righteousness.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. All right, and what I want to go into, all right, is another lesson. All right, going into the devil at work. Okay, a toxic empire. All right, and what we're seeing, constantly, all right, with Esau Edom is that everything that this devil is doing, is being exposed. All right, and here it is. You have our people. They're in an uproar about us, teaching the Bible on street corners, okay? But this devil, all right, is actually putting people to death, okay? His whole empire is based on death, okay? So here it is from the moment, okay, you're born, he's injecting poison into you, from, the juice you get from the hospital, the formula that he puts you on, okay? And, a lot of it is geared, to alter, Jake mainly, okay? But everyone's affected, but we know, all right, a lot of these things are targeted at Jake, okay? The foods, that's available to you, all right, that are cheap to you, that are convenient for you to get, are all poison, okay? And what you breathe in, the clothing you wear, all these things are poison. And here it is, this man is putting you to death as soon as you're born, okay? But the biggest problem that people have at this time is Israelites teaching the Bible on the street corner, okay? Show you how, this devil has enchanted, the minds of the masses, okay, to only look at, their own people, okay, speaking to you Israelites in a certain way, all right, but this nigga can do all this wickedness and get a pass, okay. So I want to get a few precepts, and then uh, I got a video I want to go into, and this lesson was inspired by a short video done by the beloved elder Apostle Tahar, and he did a short, and he played a little portion, okay, of this video from Redacted, and I went and watched the whole video, and is worth the response, all right, because it's just more exposure of this devil, and ultimately it just shows you we gotta get out of here, man. All right, this man has turned the earth into one big giant death camp. Okay, so let's go here real quick to the book of Proverbs 28. All right, get a couple of precepts, lay the foundation, and we'll get into the video. It says, this on Proverbs 28 and 15, it says, as a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. Okay, which means this man has a very destructive, because a roaring lion, okay, and a raging bear are two very destructive animals. All right, predatory animals, man. And this man is a predator towards the people that he rules over, man. Okay, the majority of earth, is poor under this man's rulership. Okay, you have 92% of the wealth, okay, flowing to 1% of the population. All right, this man is a predator, man, economically, spiritually, physically. Okay, this man is an absolutely predator in rulership, man. All he does is praise on the poor, man. Okay, praise on the masses, man, especially dealing with Jake. Okay, and it says verse 18, verse 16, Proverbs 28:16. It said the prince that wanted understanding is also a great oppressor. Okay, and this man is lacking in understanding and righteousness, man. Okay, and he's a great oppressor. All right, but he that hateth covetousness shall prolong his days, man. Okay, and all this man is about is taking and taking and taking. Here it is. This man has all the wealth, have all the influence. He has systems set up to where he's going to be, where he will be forever wealthy. Okay, but this man is still not satisfied, man. He wants your thoughts now. He wants to control your actions. He wants, he wants to hack your body. He wants to control your nervous systems and your DNA, and make you not human anymore. Like he's just devouring, man. Okay, he's never satisfied, as the scriptures say. Okay, and you read this in a few different translations. All right, this is a New King James Version. Says a ruler who lacks understanding is a great oppressor, man, and this is what we're under. Okay, a man that lacks understanding and righteousness, and he's a great oppressor, man. As the scriptures say, woe to thee, O land, when thy prince is a child. Okay, and we have a very irresponsible, childlike man that's in power, man. Okay, very childlike the way that this man rules the earth. Okay, because childs are known to be what? Experimental, all right, carefree, all right, don't understand, consequences. Okay, short-sighted. Okay, and this is how this man runs the earth, man. Okay, and that's why scriptures say that no flesh, all right, will make it, all right, under this man's rulership. Okay, this man has a rulership that's in self-destruct mode. He has people in self-destruct mode, and the earth is in self-destruct mode, man. Okay, so let's go here. All right, because a ruler that lacketh understanding, okay, is a oppressor. Okay, now let's play this. Okay, let me go. Okay, here you go. And I'm gonna get this real quick. Let's see what we get. Yep. Yeah, so I'm gonna play this. Like I said, this is a from the YouTube channel Redacted. All right. Sometimes they have some good clips. But I'm gonna play this, and the woman that he has on, she's gonna break a lot of things down. So let's play this, man. And this is the devil at work, man. The toxic empire, man.
Well, it's being called a microplastics genocide, and we are facing a toxic tidal wave in our food supply. A few new reports out over the past few days shows that microplastics have invaded everything, our water supply, our food supply. You probably know that already. But now new reports show it's in our bloodstream. And they found that in 88% of the meats we consume, it's in our soil, it's in our produce. They're quietly rewriting our biology. So as we're sitting here, all these microplastics in our body are rewriting our biology. How will it affect our ability to have children and live into old age? The studies are terrifying. Endocrine disruptors, inflammation, even death. So how do we fight back? Well, that's what Kim Bright is here to break down. Kim is a true pioneer in the world of natural health and nutrition. You know her well. She spent decades ahead of her time, really. Kim Bright is the founder of Brightcore Nutrition, one of the original forces behind the MAHA movement. Kim, welcome back to the show. Great to see you.
Hey, Clayton. Thank you for having me back. Always a pleasure.
My pleasure. You know, I want to bring receipts this time, and I want our audience, because, you know, how do we fight back about this? Is a real question. How do we fight back against this? We'll talk about how to protect your body, how to detox, how to detox your cells, nourish yourself in a world that's becoming increasingly toxic. So we'll get there in a second, but maybe we can just sort of lay out what you're seeing right now in the environment. Like, if you could run down a list of, like, what are the toxins that we are currently facing in 2025?
Those dangers are all around us. They're 5G, the towers. We have more electrical energy coming at us than at any other time in human history. Pharmaceuticals, chemicals in our soil, our water, in the air we're breathing, mRNA vaccines. All these things are inundating us. But there's something that is it's more evil because you can't see it, is the microplastics. And I want to make sure everybody out there understands what microplastics truly are. What they are they chemical polymers and they're fragments of chemical polymers that they subsist of these macromolecules. They form a chain, and they just keep repeating themselves, which makes them really strong binding together things that are almost unable to be destroyed. So when I talk about macroplastics actually, the size of them are, I want to get this right, is less than 0.2 inches. All right, that's 0.2 tenths of an inch, all the way down to 1/250,000. Okay, that's tiny, and anything smaller than that's considered nanos, and that's measured in the millions and the billions. So we're talking about things that are just unbelievably small that we can't see. But it's almost like this is a genocide, like you said, and it's really abundant everywhere.
You know, we're told to avoid like plastic water bottles. So as I'm sitting here, you know, my wife, when we were, raising our little children, and, you know, she was very adamant, like, let's use glass for after she would pump like breast milk, you know, and put it in a glass bottle and all of that, and go to such great lengths to try to keep that kind of plastics out of our house. But then you almost feel like you're just, you're like Sisyphus trying to push a boulder up a hill, because it seems like it's impossible, because we're told to avoid plastic water bottles, but studies now show that it's even, it's in our tap water already. It's in rainwater. And so is there really, like, truly any water source left that's free of this stuff?
Not really. I mean, even after, all the processing that they do to try and clear out the things of our tap water, it's still 63% is there. It's almost impossible to filter out. It's impossible almost to filter out. And speaking of baby bottles, up until 2012, they had this plastic called BPA in the nipples. Even if you use glass, you were getting it there. And if you put it in the microwave to warm it up, you're getting now intensifying it in the nipple. It's just like everywhere. The sippy cups, all these things, you have to be so careful as a parent. And it's just, we're being bombarded with this stuff. And, it's the other thing too, is not only is it worldwide in the water, bottled water too. Think about plastic bottles that sit out, after the trucks deliver them, and they're in the trucks and they're going down the road and it's 100 degrees outside. It's just getting more inundated, that water, with the plastics. But also what's happening too is our food supply. This is everywhere in the Arctic and Antarctica. It's in the deepest area of our oceans. Our oceans are now just so inundated with this stuff. It goes all the way down our food chain to the microalgae. The microalgae.
So wait a second. Even in Antarctica, in the Arctic Circle, we're finding the microplastics nanoparticles.
And in the Mariana Trench, which that's the deepest point on Earth.
Jeez Louise. Can you walk us through?
Let me just say this. The microalgae now, science has proven, they've been studying this, that the microalgae cellular systems are disrupted because they're unable to pick up the amount of nutrients that they used to be able to pick up. Now take this and go all the way up the food chain, Clayton, to where we're now eating the tissues of the fish out of the water. We're eating the tissues of the meat at the very end of the food chain, livestock, dairy, all of this stuff. Think about how inundated their tissues are, because not only are they coming up through the food chain, but in the grass is watered with, all of these fragments that have been falling out of the sky. So we're inundated with it every single place that we can absolutely imagine. And like you said, in the meats, they did the study, and not just meat too.
Okay. Oh, Salaki. All right. I should be good now. Well, if a brother could post that, Michael 2-1. Okay. I should be good, Salaki. I forgot to take myself off mute. But going back into it, this devil, like I was saying earlier, here it is, our people, they going on this trend. It's a trend now, to speak against us, for teaching the Bible. No matter what camp it is. It can be IUIC, ISUPK, we got our differences and we rebuke those guys where they go off. Okay. But ISUPK is nowhere near the problem of Esau Edom. There are camps, that do too much, on the highways and byways, and they're off on particular things. But there's no way they should be the topic of discussion over Esau Edom and how this man has turned the earth into a death camp, man. Okay, and he makes it to where you can't escape, the poison. Okay, you try to go to glass. Well, this man has, the nipple of the bottle. It's poisonous. Okay, what you cook your food on, you say I'm gonna eat clean, I'm gonna eat this. Well, he made to what you cook your food on is poison. Okay, this man has just sat down and thought of every way, to poison the earth. All right, because we know he wants to depopulate. Okay, and we know he's just a damn devil. Okay, so this man runs a toxic empire. Okay, we're gonna get into that word toxic, man. You see, and he's 2-3 steps ahead of everything that you will try to do, okay, to avoid the poison, and he's poisoned it. Okay, the water supply, the ocean is poison. There's no drinkable rivers and lakes. You can't just go to a stream, okay, and drink water. Go to a lake, and drink water, man. But when it was just Gad here, you could do that. Okay, showing you that this devil is just a walking plague, a walking cancer of the earth, man. Okay, so let's go here. The brother got this. Let's get a few precepts. All right, this is the brother Bayan Yashal, Ezekiel 4:13. The Lord said, "Even thus shall the children of Israel eat their bread defiled among the Gentiles, would I have driven them, man." Okay, and we try to eat the best of the worst, because there's still no excuse just to have a trash diet. Don't put more hell on yourself. There is a better way, and you do feel better when you eat different. And then when you eat less, man, that's another thing. When you eat less, when you're not eating so much, you feel better, in this man's system. Okay, prayers, the herbs, the tinctures. Okay, they help, but ultimately this whole kingdom and this whole setup has to be destroyed, man, because it will only get worse, man. No flesh will make it, man. Okay, literally, man, under this man's authority. All right, let's go here. Revelation 6:4. And it says, "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace, okay, from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given him a great sword, and his sword goes beyond just a gun." This man has weaponized everything because he take peace from the earth to everything, man. That's why they call it a dis-ease. Okay, a disease is your body being at a dis-ease. It's not at peace. Okay, so even through the food, through the medicines, through the air, the clothing, the plastics, the microplastics, the shit is micro, is nano poison. You can't even see it with the naked eye, man. This man is just a goddamn devil. Okay, and he has all this free time to just sit up and do wickedness, man. That's why this man has to be removed, man. Okay, it's the brother you call hope for 144. It says Michael 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Yeah, because they control these different industries, man. They control the industry that create the plastic bottles. They create what you call Teflon. There's substance Teflon that they put on the cooking supplies. Okay, they curate, the microwaves, the technology, the things that increase. One thing here it is, things are poisonous, so you put it in a microwave, it enhances whatever poison is in the food. Okay, with the radiation. All right, microwaves are banned in particular countries, man. All right, there's foods that's allowed in America and chemicals and byproducts that they put in food that's banned everywhere else, man. Okay, and so America is the most toxic. Okay, and you go here real quick. Let's just get this definition for toxic, and then we'll go back to it. But this devil, he's in control of all these different entities, man. All right, and whenever there's mass production of something, he's in control of everything that's mass produced. Okay, the cell phones, everything that everything is meant to destroy you in some type of way, man. Okay, look at the laptop too long. Everything is meant to be harmful, man. Okay, and what are people doing? Eating terrible diets, scrolling the internet all day. Okay, looking at filth and trash. You see, listening to filth, eating filth. Okay, it's a very toxic environment that this man has created. Okay, in the earth today, man. So you go into this word toxic, and what does it mean? Poisonous. Now here it is. He'll say masculinity is toxic because a man wants to be in control of his house. Okay, because he wants what's best for his wife and his children. Okay, that's toxic. But the way this man runs the earth isn't described as toxic. All right, but when you go into the word toxic and the synonyms, what it means, it says poisonous, venomous, okay, dangerous, harmful, destructive, unsafe, injurious, okay, fatal, deadly, lethal, mortal, okay. And you go into real quick, all right, what's the number one cause All right, one, number one cause, okay, of death in Jake. Number one cause of death. Okay. And then all these things describe how this man runs the earth. Okay. Now you go here real quick, just looked it up. You know, we looked it up before. All right, they count. But when you go here to number one cause of death of blacks in America. Okay. It says, according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, heart disease is the leading cause of death for black Americans, accounting for 226 deaths per 100,000 people in 2021. This is followed by cancer. Okay. This is followed by cancer deaths per 167 deaths per 100,000, and unintentional injuries, okay, which is 63. But going back into the leading two is what? All right, the heart disease, which is caused by food, and Jake eat all the unlawful food. Okay, so it's a double whammy for Jake. And then cancer, and cancer is caused by what? These foods, man. Okay, this man has nothing but cancer-causing chemicals in these foods, man. Okay, so this man runs a toxic empire that's putting you to death, literally, man. Okay, but niggas is not complaining about that. Okay, us reading the Bible, telling our people to put the drugs down, stop being bitches and hoes and niggas and thugs, stop shooting each other upside the damn head. Okay, you see, we're the problem. But this nigga is poisoning you every second. All right, every awakening, and even when you're sleeping, this man is destroying you every second of the day. Okay, on the hour. All right, but he's not called toxic, man. Okay, show you that it's just an ass backwards, society, man. Okay, show you that our people are on the heavy enchantments, man. Okay, so let's play this some more. All right, let's get back to it. She's gonna keep going in.
It's also in tofu. It's in the plant-based meats. Up to 88% of these things had it. And clothing, plastic clothing. Everybody thinks, oh, we're doing such a good job. We're going to recycle these plastic bottles and get them out of the oceans. We're going to make them into shoes for your feet. We're going to make them into clothing for you. Clothing that is used to wick away water, whether you're hiking or having your yoga pants on, or men or women that wear this plastic underwear that is all made of these polymers. Heat, remember, makes these things stronger, and our skin absorbs more this way when we're wearing these types of clothing against our skin. Men are having reproductive problems. Women are having reproductive problems. This is right up next to where you reproduce. So think about wearing some whitey tighties, everybody. And in clothing manufacturers, men are having erectile dysfunction. They're studying this because they're constantly inhaling all of these fragments every day. And then atmosphere again. Every time they send a missile up, every time they send a rocket up, they're all made with plastics, nanoplastics, and these microparticles are falling down into our ionosphere. They're being spread out throughout the world.
So when this man shoots some missiles, there's poison that's being, left behind from those thrusters. Okay, when the rocket, is launched into space, there's poison that's polluting the air. Okay, so the missile itself, is going to destroy. Okay, then what's, being left behind, the aftermath of the missile, okay, is causing destruction, man. This man is death on another level. Okay, this man is death on another level, man. Okay, a major problem of the earth is this nigga here, man. Okay, everything that you can think of, man, has death attached to it in this man's society, man. Okay, let's play some more.
no boundaries here. And you know what I can't figure out is Elon Musk has 8,000 of the 12,000 active satellites up there, and he keeps sending up more. He sent some more up there. What was it, 22, 28, 32 on Sunday? And I actually watched in the sky, and the stuff remained there in these weird circles after it had launched and gone up. And an hour later, it was still there. So what it, you know, and why the rush for him to get to Mars? Something tells me that, you know, this planet is being made inhabitable, and the few guys are going to, you know, escape. And even though he seems to be doing some great things like implanting things in people's head where they can see again, they were blind, or move again, I don't know, maybe these can all be connected up the satellite. Now we're in the matrix and you're under the control of Big Brother.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people in my audience that believe we're, you know, heading into the mark of the beast territory here. So, you know, with all this transhumanism and the manipulation of the human body in a way, I mean, it's deeply terrifying. And, you know, being injected with these sort of nanoparticles through these mRNA vaccines to begin with, and then being manipulated with 5G technology. I don't know how steeped in that you are, but, you know, just thinking all of these particles that are in our bodies. You know, we did an interview a few weeks ago with an MK Ultra whistleblower, and you wouldn't believe the emails and messages that I got from people that have said they have been targeted. People want to claim that it's Havana syndrome. It's not. They are being targeted. I mean, talking like total fatigue, you know, with directed energy weapons. I mean, we can go down a whole territory of craziness here, but this is
they're existing.
This is reality.
We got some evil. Yeah, we got some real evil. We got the mark of the beast out there for sure. And people have to be smart and read their Bibles, and don't take that mark of the beast. Don't get these implants. Get rid of all of as many of electronics as you can, and just really dive into it and study. Everybody needs to really be aware of these things. But, you know, the global consumption is now 6 times higher of these micro and nanoplastics than it was in 1990. And scientists have said that they can see this cells being altered by this, and they actually have a name for it now because it's going into our organs and altering our organs, and it's called plasticosis.
So I was just about to ask you, you know, how is this? We talked about the prevalence of where this stuff is all around the world.
And you can't get around, you know, linking what's happening to the MOTB, okay, with this nanotechnology, this AI infrastructure. Okay, because when you take the MOTB, what is it going to do? It's going to link you to what? AI infrastructure. Okay, these major data centers. Okay, it's going to merge you, what they call the Internet of Bodies. It's going to merge you, okay, into this system on another level. Okay, it's not enough that you're addicted to, you know, social media, and okay, you're addicted to the distractions and the entertainment, and you know, you're addicted to, you know, the lifestyle, the culture, okay, of the beast. No, you have to fully, okay, buy down and become one with the beast now. Okay, so there's no getting around separating what's happening with the MOTB. You see, the Lord is making this thing plain. If a brother can get that, Sirach 39 and Sirach 39 and 24. And if a brother could also get Revelation 11 and 18. Okay, so let's get this real quick. This the brother disciples, okay, of Yahushua 144. It says Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart. You know, and this is why we're constantly separating from this place, man. You know, because people are just bombarded from every side. Like I say, people are, you know, addicted to these phones and this technology. Okay, they can't go a second without it. You know, people are addicted to the distraction. They're addicted to the food because food is a drug. Okay, these chemicals, all right, make food a narcotic, man. Okay, people are addicted to, you know, the entertainment. Okay, their flesh. So these people are just being bombarded on every side, man. And this is why, you know, the Lord has called us out of this shit, man. Now we're here, we're in the midst of it. Okay, but we're moving, you know, in wisdom in this, man. Okay, That's why it's good, sometimes to put, the phone down sometime, man. Other than, doing the work and studying, man, I try to not to be, glued to the phone like that, man. I'd rather, be out in nature, doing something, moving around, you know, doing something, creative or productive with my hands or something, man, than, just glued, to this goddamn technology like this, man. But everybody different, we gotta do what we gotta do. Some brothers, some sisters, that's their, major part of their job is, this technology, man. But if possible, man, shit, the way we eat, man, like I said, we eating the best of the worst. There's no escaping, the poison of this society. All right. But we can, there is a better way to eat, and feel better. And like I say, eating less, goes a long way too. Intermittent fasting, letting your body have a chance to break some of this stuff down, man. Because the body is meant, to detoxify itself. Okay. And you put in the right herbs and you're not eating and, give your digestive system a break, because you just keep consuming and consuming. Okay. You just constantly overwhelming yourself, man. It'll take a toll on you, man. Okay. Um, yep. Let's go here because I say you still have Israelite camps, that refuse to link what's happening in real time with this devil's technology, okay, and the way it's going in the MOTB, okay. They'll still tell you it's sin, okay. It's a picture of Caesar Borgia or whatever, okay. It's the white woman, Solomon had, okay, all right. But it's getting to the point you cannot ignore this technology that this man is rolling out right before our eyes, man. Okay, and the way things are trending. Okay, but the scriptures make it plain. This is a brother you call Hopeful 144. Sirach, all right, 39:24 says that his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. Okay, so when we see these things, they're plain, because there's the elect, all right, is holy because it's separate from everyone else. It's separate from the rest of the world, and it's even separate from the rest of Israel. To where we see these things and they're plain, all right. But to a lot of our people, they're stumbling blocks, man. Because Jake ain't being geared to make that sacrifice to trust in the Lord when this thing is made mandatory, man. Okay, so let's let this play some more.
World in everything. So what exactly is it doing to our bodies? This plastictosis? What is it doing to our bodies?
Plastotosis, it's actually altering our cell behavior. So our cells aren't going to function normally. Our cells can't carry and transport oxygen and nutrients to our cells, just like I mentioned in what's happened with the microalgae. They're finding blood clots at an increasing rate, and heart attacks and strokes. A 2025 study found people that had the microplastics and nanoplastics in their carotid artery tissues were 2 times more able to die of stroke and a heart attack in the next 3 years than people that didn't show as much. So the whole thing here is the plastic manufacturers are now manufacturing well over 500 million tons of this stuff a year. We have to stop using it. We have to, get rid of all of the things that we can get rid of. Don't buy things that, are made of plastic, and then, hopefully they'll stop making it. But, it's not simply enough, Clayton, to stop using these plastics. We have to get them out as much as we possibly can. But the whole thing here is, I looked at it and I was like, there's got to be a way to remove these plastics. There's got to be a way to make them less harmful. And, I've studied all these different diets. And of course, to me, the most important foods that we can eat are fermented foods. And that's been proven to be one of the main things that keep people, in these regions where they've been living to be 120, 130 years old.
So yeah, she's going into the kombucha, all right, which are fermented foods, with they're good, those probiotics. Like I say, man, there's certain detox, even if you just do fruits, okay, and certain tinctures and herbs you can take, teas. All right. That starts to get rid of things, man, because we have to constantly detox because we're constantly taking things in, and um, it's not as convenient, for some, you brothers and sisters as it is for others, man. But it worked wonders, and I'm saying because I've been doing a lot lately, and it worked wonders, man. I can tell the major difference, detoxing often, whether it's a 5-day, 10-day, brothers that's a little more seasoned, extended detox, man. All right, it does wonders for your mental clarity. Okay, yep, the garlic, daily garlic, you know, um, these things, we add these things to our regimen. Okay, and these things work wonders, man. Okay, because hey, we're in the war, you see, and what's the point of knowing wisdom if we're not going to do anything to combat it? Brother can put that. A wise man will care, for his meat and diet. In the book of Sirach, you know. And some brothers, there's gonna be more tapped in than others, man. But if you're just out here winging it with the American standard diet, man, it can go bad. You see, with everything that the devil is doing, testosterone. Here it is. You live in an over sexualized, society. Okay, but everything that around you as a man is destroying your testosterone. Here it is. He put, like I say, you're extremely, the society is extremely over sexualized. Everything is about sex, sex, sex. Okay, but then as men, he destroys your testosterone, man. Okay, libido low. Everything in this society is all about demasculating men. Whether it's their low self esteem. All right, and then if you have, if your organs is not working right, you know, if you're not functioning properly as a man, it destroys your self esteem. And this is how he wants men to be in this low self esteem, low testosterone, all right, low libido, okay, mindset, because it easily control a population of low testosterone, man. That's why he doesn't mind putting women on the pedestal, because women are no threat to his power. Okay, so that's why he pushes the matriarch to the masses, while he rules the earth through a patriarch. You see, completely backwards, man. Okay, so let's go here, because this is what we're watching, man. We're watching this man. Okay, and then hold on, I want to get to a part because she speaks on AI as well. Let me see.
It's from a different study. But anyway, the important thing to know is when you take in kimchi and carry them out through the body, we have a healthy microbiome. We also have we need to have a healthy microbiome. Kidneys, areas in the body where we have a lot of fat in our fat cells. So I found this study unbelievable, that this is true, and we can get this job, at least we can control some part of our interior of our body to get rid of these microplastics. So and all these things, it's getting crazy. And now they're actually diagnosing in our cells, these microplastics look normal because somehow they can adjust and they start to look normalized in our cell. In these fermented foods, it's found in kimchi. So it's foreign to them, and even if they will start to eat it, they will not keep.
Philip, he loves kimchi. He will eat a whole can every day. To anyone who will listen to me, I take it. If people want to call you, if they call your
going downhill, and how this is a solution. It's not the only solution, of course, but it is a solution. You're going to notice better digestion. You can, most people will take. That's what is so great about this. It's really restoring our.
Well, they go. So she's speaking about the kimchi, but I'm gonna put it on there, which she is some good info. So I'll put the rest of it on here. But she even goes into AI. How AI, all right, is destroying. Okay, the mental. People, are being dumbed down through AI, depending on AI. AI thinking, for the masses, which we go over there as well. All right. But I'm gonna put the rest of it if y'all want to watch the rest of it. Okay, like I say, pretty informative. Okay. So yeah, let's get some more precepts. Okay. Well, let's get this real quick because I looked up a few things on the chat. All right. Now, as the scriptures say, if a brother can post that to Exodus 17 and 16. Okay. And I asked Chat GPT what a wicked ruler, all right, poison the food. Okay. And it says, yes, a wicked ruler could poison their own people through the food supply, especially if their goals align with causing harm, exerting control, or eliminating perceived enemies. While the sounds extreme history, all right, and fiction offer examples where rulers or regimes have tampered with food, okay, food or resources for strategic, political, and genocidal purpose. Here are a few possible motives such, all right, a ruler might have. Population control. And we know by the Georgia Guidestones that they want to do a heavy population control, depopulation. Okay. So you go into what? Population control, targeting specific groups or reducing numbers to maintain power or manage resources, making people independent, submissive, or fearful, all right, enough, all right, not to rebel. Okay. Quietly removing opposition or undesirable groups through covert poison. And all right, who's the targeted group through most of this poison is Jake, because he's poisoning the masses. Okay, but there's emphasis, okay, on what Jake has access to. Okay, because Jake's diet, consists of the mainly of the gas station and those poor quality grocery stores in the neighborhood, man. Okay, Jake eat that gas station food every day. All right, drink those poor quality beers. All right, those cheap beers. All right, cigarettes, blacks. Okay, all them different pills at the gas stations, and there's all this madness they got at the gas station, man. Okay, and you go into different communities, especially where Esau went, where there's all these, these health stores, smoothie shops, tea, high quality tea and coffee shops. Okay, but what Jake is at, where they call it a food desert. Okay, it says using the population as test subjects for chemical or biological agents. Man, you best believe that America is one big, all right, gigantic, all right, test lab. Okay, even with him, this transhumanism, he's doing a lot of testing. He's not trying to give the average person immortality, man. He'll test you for the immortality he wants for himself. So he'll test different technology and products on you. Okay, but he's not going to pass out immortality. Here it is. Okay, you got minimum wage, in 2 states of America at $5.15. But you think this nigga's trying to give you immortality, man? Okay, he can't even have it for himself. But best believe he's testing it. All right, on the masses, he's testing different things. Okay, on the masses, man, as he's trying to tap into immortality, man. Okay, it says weaken the population to prevent uprising or making them easier to control. And the population, all right, that has low testosterone, okay, is easy to control. Okay, because if the women, the majority of the women are running the men, okay, and Esau can easily manipulate the woman, well, it's easy to control a society like that. Okay, now let's go from here, because I asked it a few questions. All right, let's go over here, because the first all right, let's go here. Because the first precept we brought out was this in Proverbs 28. Okay, now I asked it 2 questions. So I said, what would Proverbs 28 and 15 look like today? All right, it says, like a roaring lion and a charging bear is a wicked ruler over the poor people. It says to understand what that might look like today, we can break it down into metaphors and implications. All right, then apply them to current events and leadership patterns. It says a roaring lion, a charging bear. These are both dangerous, predatory animals that cause fear, harm, and destruction. Someone in power who uses, all right, it for selfish or harmful purposes, corrupt, oppressive, and violent. Okay, the poor people, all right, will represent vulnerable populations without the means to resist or escape the abuse, man. Because what can you do? Okay, this man has poisoned everything, man. Okay, the air, the water supplies. Okay, there's a better way to eat, but nothing is pure, nothing is untainted under this man. Okay, so when you go down, I um I said, would Amalek poison the earth today if they were in power? Okay, so there's a deep and thought provoking question to explore whether Amalek will poison the earth today if they were in power. We need to unpack both the biblical identity of Amalek, all right, and what poison the earth, all right, might symbolically or literally mean in the modern context. Who was Amalek in the Bible? Amalek was a descendant of Esau and founder of the Amalekite nation in Genesis 36 and 12. The Amalekites are portrayed as Israel's first and most persistent enemy, attacking them without cause. They are condemned for targeting the weak and vulnerable. In biblical theology, Amalek became a symbol of unprovoked aggression, cruelty, opposition to God's people and purpose, man. All right. And there's no doubt that Amalek is in power today because you see, all right, the tribes targeted in everything, man. You know, financially, economically, health. Okay, the tribes are the criminal. The face of migrants and criminals is tribes. Okay, because Amalek is in power. You see, our enemy, man. It says if Amalek was a modern metaphor for an evil, destructive leader, poisoning the earth could take several forms. Exploiting natural resources with no concern for future generations. No flesh will make it. Brother can post that. You know, Matthew 21, 24 and 21. Polluting water, land, and air, especially in poor regions. Is this not happening all throughout the earth, man? Is this not happening through the earth, man? Where this man is just running through resources. Okay, there's no land Sabbath. Nothing gets to rest. He overdoes everything. He overfishes the ocean. Okay, he over mines, the mines. He does everything overly, man. Deforestation. Okay, this man ruling the earth as if there's no generation after him, man. Okay, but then this nigga want immortality, man. Nigga, you don't know how to live in one lifetime. Okay, it says ignoring, all right, climate change, which that's BS, contributed to mass displacement and suffering. It says spreading propaganda, lies, or ideologies that dehumanize and or divide people, institutionalized injustice, racism, slavery, genocide, or economic oppression, targeting the weak, okay, such as refugees, orphans, all right, and the poor, weaponizing law, surveillance, all right, or war to destroy, okay, all right, lives and freedom. A modern day Amalek might dominate international trade, finance, and tech in ways that enslave rather than serve humanity. Okay, a modern day Amalek might dominate international trade, finance, the bankers, and tech, these tech giants, in ways, all right, that enslave rather than serve humanity, manipulating economies to benefit elites, okay, at the expense of billions, man. And this has happened real time, man. Okay. So when Amalek poisoned the earth today, yes, if we understood Amalek as the archetype of ruthless, unjust power, then the influence today would likely manifest as systematic destruction of both the moral and physical fabric of the world, oppressing the weak, exploiting creation, and imposing anything rooted in justice, compassion, or truth, man. You see? This is who's in power right now, real time, man. No doubt about it. Okay. So what we're seeing, okay, as you go here, the brother Bayan Yashala, Exodus 17-16 says, "For he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." Exodus 17-16. So this is a generation, and this devil, okay, like he doesn't have access to the Most High. So what does he do, man? He makes war with the creation, man. All right, and the people of the Most High, okay, by targeting them, man. Okay, and this is why this is, his going to be his end. Okay, this is why the Lord's going to send Yahweh Shah back to end this man. Okay, because going back to the brother put that Matthew, yep, this is the book of Matthew 24-22. The brother you call Hopeful 144, and it says, and except those days should be shortened, okay, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened, man. Okay, so the Lord is that's why time is moving fast, okay, to end this man's rulership and to begin the rulership of Yahweh Shai. And the brother can put that Wisdom of Solomon 6-24, and we can end on that, man. But that's why the Lord is running this man's, all right, rulership, okay, to the end, okay, because nothing will survive, man. This man's rulership at the rate that he's going, okay. And this is why I said we have to be mindful. We here, so we can't just, just because the scriptures say we're going to eat our bread defiled amongst the Gentiles means that we should have a lackluster, okay, mindset towards our diet, being active, moving, okay, working out, okay. These things have to be, we have to maintain, these bodies, all right, to be, productive in the spirit, man, okay. So Rock 30-15 said, health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth, man. Okay. So we, have to have a mind, all right, towards, taking care of ourselves in this society. Okay. You can't just turn loose, okay, because we got new bodies coming. We still, have to maintain, do the best we can. All right. You don't have to be, you know, a triathlon. All right. You don't have to run the marathon every day. Okay. But it should be a consistent, okay, regiment, okay, that puts us in the best position to push this word, man. Okay. Well, yeah, a brother can get that in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, okay, in verse 24. Okay. So let's get this real quick. All right. Is Revelation 11:18. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets. Okay. And to did he put the rest of it? Yeah. It probably didn't pop up. Okay. I'm gonna read it again, Revelation 11:18. This disciples of Yahweh 144. And it says, the nations were angry, all right, and thy wrath is come, because the Lord's wrath, okay, is kindled. All right, and he's finna unleash on these nations in the earth, man, beginning with Esau, Edom. Okay, now we're in the time of judgment, all right, beginning with Esau and these nations that have been in cahoots with the devil. Okay, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, okay, and to them that fear thy name, small and great, which is the rest of the 1/3. Okay, and the main point was in the end. So let me get it real quick. They probably won't let them post. I know sometimes Esau be tripping. So let me post the rest of that. because the main point, is at the end of that verse. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and get that in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6. Okay. And we get ready to close out. All right. This goddamn devil, man. Okay. Well, somehow, all right, to our people, I can't get, he's like, goddamn, Jake. He say, okay, you get it. We wicked. We need to come back to Jesus. But goddamn, look what Jesus is doing in the earth. Okay. So y'all just want to finish the end of that because that's the point. Okay, he won't let me post it neither. Goddamn devil, man. So I just had to go to it. So lucky. Yeah, wouldn't even let me post it neither. But you go here to the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 18. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead that they should be judged. All right. And that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth, man. And shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Okay. And who is them that destroy the earth? Esau, Edom, man. All right. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And look at the condition of the earth, man. In condition of death and decay. Okay. And then the more technology he get, the faster he destroys the earth. You see? So let's go here. Let me post it up. So this is Wisdom of Solomon 6:24 said, but the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and a wise king is the upholding of the people. Okay? So the multitude of wise that's coming into power is Yahweh Shai, all right, and those first fruits. Okay? So and their rulership is going to be for the welfare of the earth. All right, the well-being of life, flourishing in earth, order. Okay, justice, the earth giving forth its strength. Okay, the earth ran, with proper wisdom is going to flourish, man. Okay, and after 1,000 years, these nations are going to flourish and be able to enjoy their rulership under the rightful rulers, beginning with Yahweh Shai, man, the wisest, all right, ruler there is. Okay, so just wanted to get into that, man. Thought that was interesting, worth, response. So Lord will you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. Want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful at Shalom.